Hi everyone, welcome to this episode of Scratch where we're going to recreate the old Snake game that was present in the mobiles when they first launched. So let's go ahead and get started. I'll give you a quick update on what all have I already uploaded. So I have the backdrop already uploaded onto my screen. It's the sky backdrop. Apart from that, I have these three sprites uploaded. You can find their links in the module. Um, these sprites have been uploaded and their size has been set to 12. So we have uploaded the body sprite, the head sprite, and the food sprite. Food is of red color. Um, so this is all that we're going to need. Apart from having uploaded all of these, there is one more thing that is left. That is adding the costume to the body sprite. So I'm going to go ahead and click on body and then switch to the costumes over here and drag onto the upload costume option. Then go to the place where, yeah. So with this, we have a snake's costume as well now on our screen. Let's switch back to coding. One second. Let's switch. First click on body and then switch back to coding. Yeah. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing that we're going to do is, as usual, create the variable that we'll need. So this game is not time restricted. That is why we're going to create only one variable this time, that is score. So I wrote score. I'm going to click on OK, and with this, I'll have my score up on my screen. Okay. So now let's go ahead and get started. We are first off going to program for the head, then the body, and then the food. All right. So dragging the most obvious, which is events, when green flag is clicked. So when green flag is clicked, I would want my snake to always start from a certain position on the stage, for which I'm going to drag and drop, go to X and Y and mention the X and Y position. So let it be somewhere over here, and it is supposed to point in the upward direction. So I'm going to drag and drop point in direction and write 0. So as you can see this arrow over here, this will tell me that my head is now pointing in the upward direction. Apart from that, every time that we click on the green flag, the score sets to 0. So we're going to perform that ritual over here as well. Go on to set my variable to 0 and set my variable score to 0 the moment green flag is clicked. Now, this snake, if you've ever played the game, you'll notice that it keeps moving on itself. Like you don't need to do anything to make the snake move. It'll keep moving. The only thing they're supposed to do is change the direction in which it's moving. So in order to add the effect of the snake being able to move wherever it wants to, go ahead, onto control, drag and drop the forever code block onto your screen, and then drag and drop wait inside it. Oops. And after every 0.1 second, this snake is going to move 10 pixels, but there's a condition to it. For the condition, obviously we're going to drag and drop if and then inside it, and then go to the operators, and since we have two conditions that will hinder the movement of my snake, that's why I'm going to drag and drop an or operator inside the if. So if my snake by chance touches the edges or touches itself while moving, that is the time when game over is supposed to come up on the screen. So for touching the edge, I'm going to drag and drop touching mouse pointer and click on edge. I accidentally placed it over here. Okay, so if it's touching the edges, then this, or if it is touching color, let's go ahead and pick the color. So this is the color that it's supposed to touch and then display game over. Okay, but the color is supposed to be 38, saturation 81, and brightness is supposed to be 69. Adjusting that a little over here. Okay, so the moment it is either touching the edge or if it's touching itself, then the message game over is supposed to come up on my screen. So I have provided the condition. I'm yet to provide the result of that condition. So I'm going to go to looks and drag and drop, say this for these many seconds. Instead of hello, it's supposed to be game over, exclamation, and it's going to say so for the next 10 seconds. Um, Apart from that, another thing that the game over is supposed to do is stop everything that's going on the screen. So we went to the control category and dragged and dropped stop all from the control. So with this, we are done with one part of the snake's head. The other part that is left is moving it in different directions. So that is again a lot of event code blocks. So when instead of space, it's up arrow key. So when up arrow key is pressed, it is supposed to point in direction upwards, which is 0. Then moving ahead and duplicating it, when down arrow key is pressed, it's supposed to point in the opposite direction. And when right arrow key is pressed, it is supposed to point in this direction. And when the left arrow key is pressed, it's supposed to point in the opposite direction of it will when the right key is pressed. So with this, we have assigned keys as well, the keyboard keys that are going to help the player navigate the snake around in the game. After having programmed for the head, let us go ahead and program for the body. So click on the body, like select the body from the sprites, and you'll have a watermark image of the body onto the screen. Now what is going to happen in our case is that every time that the snake eats the food, it is going to elongate, like it will keep creating clones of itself and elongate in size the moment it eats the food. So in order to have that functioning, let's go ahead and program it. Dragging the obvious first of all when green flag is clicked. So it is going to switch to costume body 1, like just after the snake's head body is going to be there. And forever it is supposed to be attached to the head, for which we are going to go to motion and drag and drop, go to random position, select the head from over there. And apart from that, one more important thing will be create a clone of, so it is going to duplicate itself, elongate itself in a way. So create a clone of myself. Yes, obviously body's clone is supposed to be created. Okay, so but when it creates a clone of itself, which is when I start as a clone, it is going to switch its costume, for which I'm going to go to looks and drag and drop, switch costume to body 2. Body 2 is the other costume that we have. Okay, we accidentally programmed. Okay, no problem. So when I start as a clone, switch costume to body 2, and then it's supposed to wait for 0.1 seconds. And okay, so um, after it's done waiting for 0.1 seconds, it is going to wait. Then you're going to go to operators and drag and drop this. So score 5 seconds, and then it's supposed to delete this clone. Okay, so with this we are done programming for the body as well. Moving on to the food. How is the food going to work and how is it going to add to our score every time that the snake touches it? For that, let's go to the food, drag and drop when green flag is clicked, then go to control and drag and drop forever. Inside the forever, there's going to be a condition, so if and then for that condition. Going on to sensing then, so if the food is touching the head, only the head, then it is supposed to change my variable score by, let's say, 1. And then the food is supposed to pick any random place, any x coordinate, any y coordinate, and come up on that coordinate. So I'm going to go to motion again and drag and drop, go to xy, and then go to operators, drag and drop, pick random over here and pick random over here. So then the food is free to appear at any point from -220 to 220. This is for x. For y it will be -160 to 160. With this, we are done programming for the head, the body, the food, and the score. Let's go ahead and give this game a try. So, switching to full screen mode, I'm going to go ahead and click on the green flag and let's see how this all. Okay, so there I have my snake, and the moment the head is touching the food, I can see an increase in score, and at the same time my snake is elongating every time that it's touching the food. Now let's see whether the game over is working fine or not. So as I can see that the moment the head crashed onto the edge, the message game over appeared on my screen and everything stopped, like nothing is moving now. So that was it for the class today. Do go ahead and try this out yourself. Thank you so much for joining. Happy tinkering.